Terri Herring. Terri is founder of Choose Life Mississippi. What an organization. Terri, good morning. How are you? It's good to have you.
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Haven't seen you for a while, and we had a lot of things have happened in the meantime. Certainly Dobbs and everything else. We spent a long legislative session trying to say, all right, what are we going to do to prepare for this? One of the leading organizations on the front and ground zero, and thank God for you people, Choose Life Mississippi. What's happened since that ruling? And I do want to talk about what's going on now, but how have things changed a little bit as far as on the streets?
Well, I think there was a lot of hopelessness for some people. You know, we were hoping Roe v. Wade would be overturned, but we had passed over 25 laws in Mississippi and restricted abortion as much as possible. But we were still experiencing over 3,000 abortions a year. So I think now that we know that for the most part abortion has ended in Mississippi, there's more of a passion to invest in helping women who become pregnant, and that's as it should be.
Have you, and an honest question here, have you heard of anybody because they did not have the wherewithal to get an abortion at that clinic, their life being put at risk?
No, we haven't heard anything about anybody being put at risk from not obtaining an abortion. I think that women have kind of settled in and maybe are seeking options for being able to have their babies. But I also think that we have to realize that abortion, while it's ended in Mississippi, it is still available with abortion pills. It's still available out of state. So we really want to be there for these women so that they still have the opportunity to choose life.
Well, there's another benefit. People don't like to talk about this, but it's a very viable, and we've read studies on this too, that once this happens and that's not so much casually available to you, then couples begin to take better protection to avoid being pregnant in the first place. And that's a big equation, is it not?
Absolutely.
What a benefit from this.
Yes. Just the psychological part in America of saying abortion is no longer available in some places as a means of birth control, which is what we ultimately have to be able to say that's what it's been. It has just been another form of birth control. Yeah. So we have seen pregnancy rates go down across the nation, but they're also predicting that over 5 million lives have already been saved from the overturn of Roe v. Wade. So you have Texas, you have Mississippi, you have many states that are restricting abortion, and we know that women are not going to regret choosing life. So, we're not going to hear these horrible stories because these beautiful babies are going to be born. Yeah. The mothers are going to embrace them or find a home to parent them.
It's one of the things that what little voice I have to added to the postpartum thing, because I think we needed that, and I'm glad the legislature did what they did on postpartum. Governor Tate Reeves also stepped up. He signed legislation from a Republican-dominated House and Senate into law that provides incentives for families to adopt foster children and expand an existing tax credit for people who donate to the crisis pregnancy centers. Discuss that. Talk about that for me.
Well, we were so excited in 2022, and honestly, Speaker Philip Gunn, has led the charge on this, and we're so thankful for his leadership. He will be sorely missed, but he was able to create a Pregnancy Resource Act that is vital to supporting these pregnancy centers and also adoption agencies. And what they provided was $3.5 million available in a full tax credit, which is not just a deduction. They came back this year and increased that to $10 million. So across Mississippi, businesses can give receive a dollar for dollar tax credit. It's a state tax credit, not federal. Yes. And they can receive up to 50% of their tax liability. And that credit can be carried for forward for 5 years. What's exciting about this is this includes any tax liability to the state, but it includes also ad valorem tax. So those businesses who own a building or property that are paying property taxes every year, 50% of that amount can be given to a pregnancy center, and it's literally written off in full for that tax. So we're really hopeful that we will raise this $10 million this year. Currently, there are 22 pregnancy resource centers and adoption agencies. There's a few adoption agencies in there. These are faith-based organizations. These are people that are called, I want to say appointed and anointed to do this job, and they are helping women, and it's people helping people. And, the government can provide a lot of things, but the heart that someone puts into something and gives to these girls that they care and they're going to help them through their pregnancy means more than anything.
Every resource is there from the moment they find out that they are pregnant, as far as food, transportation, everything else. They just need the avenue to find out where it is. And I say that because it is a little bit disheartening to know that we're still number one in infant mortality rates. I think 8.3 infant deaths per 1,000. And that's the highest mortality rates in the nation. And a lot of that has to do with the young mothers just not taking care of themselves during the early stages of pregnancy. But it's there. They just need to find out where it is and have a commitment.
Well, it's very disturbing, and those of us who are so passionate about saving a baby in the womb, certainly how sad is it that that baby is born and then does not have proper care or, medical care or just information to survive early infancy. I think this is a great way for the public and the state to work together to have someone on a local level, again, across the state of Mississippi. In some of the small towns, Cleveland, Mississippi has a pregnancy resource center, Hattiesburg, and of course we have a large center here, the CPC Metro in Jackson. But across Mississippi, there are people available to provide pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, but they're also providing parenting classes and, like you said, the important referrals. My hope moving forward is that these agencies with additional monies will just be able to provide so much more in terms of providing possibly future medical care for these women that are pregnant. So, and then we're also obviously encouraging adoption. So women are out there. There are over 1 million people in America that want to adopt, and we want to be sure that women who are not prepared to parent also have easy availability to adoption. And as you said, part of the legislative packages this year really were helpful for adoption and foster care in Mississippi. We want to change those numbers. Yeah. I mean, this is so important, and I'm excited because, I talked to Philip Gunn, after the Dobbs decision, and people are saying, what do we do now? And we said we have to do more to help women. Mississippi can't be the author of the Dobbs decision and not move forward and say, like you said, we're going to change the numbers. We're going to change the numbers of women who are getting pregnant. We're going to change the numbers on infant mortality. We're going to change the numbers on women having abortions in Mississippi, and we're going to take care of our babies.
We were packing into church praying for this a long time, and then when God answered our prayers, we just can't leave it there. We have some aftermath to do to take care of this. I do want to ask you this, though, because a lot of people who are just joining us know very little about Choose Life Mississippi. While we have a second or two, before we have a break and we got more time on the other side, tell us a little bit about the mission of your group and who you guys are.
Choose Life Mississippi distributes grants to the pregnancy centers. The centers are all independent, so you can give directly to any pregnancy center. And for the tax credit, it goes directly to the pregnancy center. But we've been giving grants, so we've accumulated over $4 million that we've provided since the inception of Choose Life Mississippi. From the extra $30 you pay for a Choose Life tag, we have a new adoption tag that will be coming out, and this will give people another another option.
I like that.
Is
purple?
Well, it's blue.
It's blue?
Next to
Okay.
what you're looking at, maybe, but it's a blue.
Oh, I do see.
tag.
It is blue. Yeah.
And but what we want to see people do also is you can make a contribution to Choose Life on our website, chooselifems.org, and you can also find out about links for these tax credits on chooselifems.org.
Okay. I got a couple of other questions. Can you hang on for a second?
Sure.
I want to ask you where some of these pregnancy centers, I think you said there are 22.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that and where they are and what they do when we come back with the one, the only, Terri Herring, who is founder of Choose Life Mississippi. And then Heather Wilmot comes up at 8:05. Back with more next. So funny. All right, Terri Herring back, Choose Life Mississippi. We talked about 22 pregnancy centers across the state. Are they all across it from the coast all the way up to the Tennessee line?
Absolutely. There's one in Starkville. There's one in Cleveland. There's the one at the Gulf Coast, DeSoto County, Batesville. New Beginnings up in Tupelo is an adoption agency. Yeah. Life Choices Pregnancy Center that was formerly Bethany Christian Services is here in Jackson. Hope Clinic in Hattiesburg. And then the Center for Pregnancy Choices has several locations as well. This list of available 22 agencies is available at the Department of Revenue, DOR.ms.gov, and if you look for Pregnancy Resource Center Act, or it's called PRCO, anything like that, it'll pull up on Google, and we have the links on chooselifems.org as well. So you can look and see.
On your website?
Yes, on our website, chooselifems.org, you can look up, and there'll be a link to the available qualified agencies.
I see them. Yeah, I see
One of the qualifications is to be a Choose Life agency. So, we are making sure that these centers are registered with the Secretary of State's office and with the federal government as a 501c3, and making sure that they're a good, viable place for you to provide your tax-deductible gift to the federal government, but your tax credit with the state. And it's so important, I think, that businesses take just a little time to file. It's online. There's an application online. It's basically just your business information and which agency you want to give how much to. Now, once they approve the amount, because they're making sure that they don't overshoot the $10 million, which is going to be a while this year, but we still want people to act as early as possible to avoid the funnel that happens at the end of the year. But you apply, you have 60 days to give your donation to the pregnancy center after you get the approval. Let's just say you have $100,000 in tax liability. You submit for $50,000 to get the allocation. They send you a letter. You give to the CPC. They give you a letter back. You send it to the DOR, and then you've got 60 days to actually give the gift, though. So it gives you businesses a little time. I know we went through this. We're business owners as well, and so there were a few things to do. But once you learn the process, it's not super time consuming.
Well, financially, it's a great idea, and just think what's happening with that money. You're saving lives.
It is so much more than these pregnancy centers that have been able to rely on up until this point.
The tagline you have: grant Mississippi's unborn babies a license to live by helping their mothers choose life. Absolutely right. And there's more information on the website, and I just tweeted it out at Paul Gallo Show. Purchase a tag, a list of the centers, the resources, how to donate. It is all on the website. When is the tag going to become available?
The new adoption tag is just in the process of being submitted and being designed that. So it may be fall before that one becomes available. But Choose Life is available now. It's around $30 more than you would pay for your regular tag. And that $30 from individuals accumulates. There's also one of these tax credits that does go to individuals for up to $800. Again, a full tax credit for an individual that gives. it is not called the PRCO, but it is available. If you go to DOR, you'll be able to locate that as well. So if you even gave, let's say in 2022, you gave to a pregnancy center, you can still apply for that deduction with those monies. And so it's a great way, both personally and corporately, to be able to support our centers. And I'm just really excited about what these ladies and gentlemen that run these organizations are going to be able to do with these additional funds.
So looking at the grassroots level in some of these areas where there are some unexpected pregnancies and they wanted to use these, how does that manifest itself from just some young unwed mother finding out she is pregnant, and who does she go to be able to use these pregnancy centers? Does she go directly there? Or, many of them don't have a doctor, and I'm just thinking of a wide range of things. How does this manifest itself at ground level? What do they do? Can they call the pregnancy center itself directly?
Yes, one of our requirements for the pregnancy centers. They don't have to be referred. No, these pregnancy centers are, have hotlines that they're available, all right, and we want them to call and come in. But the great thing I think about this, Paul, is that once that girl walks in the door and they start working with her, they're going to go through the pregnancy. They're going to have car seats and baby items and maternity items, and they're going to, many of them can provide ultrasound, but with these new monies, there should be availability of ultrasounds for every clinic. With this program, eventually, whether it's a full OBGYN in office or just the availability to have some medical help as well is what the future looks like, I think, in Mississippi. Yeah. But these girls, there's so many things they can access, but often they're young, but no matter what age they are, these resource centers will help them through that with people who care. And having somebody care is a big part of being able to choose life. Oh,
absolutely. Either they're going to keep the baby themselves or they'll be in a loving home through the adoption process, which is most important. Terri, you've always done some great work, and thank God your organization is there. Any final thoughts?
Paul, I just would ask people just to pray and to, to really think about your own business and your own personal availability of giving to these charities. This is a way that we can change the numbers, that we can change the future of Mississippi by having these babies in good, healthy homes.
Absolutely.
And prevent these infant mortality deaths that are so unnecessary often.
Choose Life is the website, and again, as I said a few moments ago, I did tweet it out, but it has a Pregnancy Resource Act information on there. You can click Learn More, and it gives you all of the information.
Yes, chooselifems.org.
You got it. Terri, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.